simchas are, when you go through a lot of people's sorrows and, you know,
It's nice having
hospitals and levayas and illness. Yeah, simcha feels very lichtig to me. I wanted to speak a little bit more about Yosef, Yehuda, Malchus before we go further. I think it's an important sugya. So just learn a little bit of Tanakh. Occurred to me as quite interesting. In Shmuel Aleph, the Shmuel Aleph Parak Yud Tes. Just going to go through the psukim quickly, just so we know the background of it. I'm sure you know this, but the story. But let's go to read words of Tanakh once in a while. Vaydaber Shaul el Yonasan, just quick reading, quick translation, then we can get to Tachlis. Vaydaber Shaul el Yonasan b'no vel kol avodav lahamis es Dovid. Shaul spoke to his surrounding family and troops. Time to kill Dovid HaMelech. Yonasan ben Shaul chafetz b'Dovid ma'od. And Shaul's son, Yehonasan, which is the only name, by the way, in the Torah, Yehonasan, there is no name Yehonasan, loved David Ma'od. V'yaged Yehonasan l'David leimar mevakish shel avi lahamisecha v'ato yishamer no v'aboyker v'yashafter v'seiser v'nachbesa. So Yehonasan went and told David that my father wants to kill you, and let's make a plan. You better hide, and let's make a plan where I can inform you as to what's going on. I will stand near my father where you are. El Avi, we have to figure out a way to get everybody a bit closer here. Huh? It's like, here, sit over here. Sit here, come. Lama Tamoid Buffalo. Varisi Mavi Higadati Lach. Idaber Yonasan David Tov El Shaul Ovid. So Yonasan tried to persuade his father Shaul to like David. Don't hurt David. He did nothing to you. He actually done something for you. Keep in mind here, put in background, the difference between Shaul and David is the difference between Midas HaYisod and Midas HaMalchus. As we're learning the Psukim, keep in mind that David HaMelech, David Melech Yisrael Chai V'Kayim. The ultimate Melech, the Mashiach, is David HaMelech. And also, like Kedai to keep in mind,
How did Shaul represent
Shaul is Midas HaYisod. He came from Yosef.
Just as that.
Yosef, B'nai Rachel. Binyamin, Yosef, the same Midah. So it wasn't Malchus, it was an almost Malchus. Right. It was almost Malchus. He was touching Malchus. He was a king for the day.
And Malchus needed first the Yisod.
You need Yisod. Without Yosef, you can't have Yehuda. Without Mashiach ben Yosef, you can't have Mashiach ben Dovid.
So Shaul was a tzaddik.
Shaul had a tzidkus to him. But Shaul was Midas HaYisod. We're going to learn a little bit about Shaul, but it's Shaul and Yosef is the same thing. We don't have any. We don't have any Tehillim from Shaul that we say when we have tzaras. And we don't have any Tehillim from Yosef. Because he wasn't down and earthy and grungy, and all of our tzaras and all of our pain and everything that we go through, and even our simchas. If we're real. If we're mamish real, so you find it in Tehillim. That's why we say Tehillim. In Tehillim, interesting, another thing just to keep in mind is that Tehillim, I once heard Rav Hutner explain this, I heard my ears, explain that Tehillim doesn't do anything, except where it opens up the Shari Shemayim, and then we can be piled with our tefillos. Why did the Tehillim open up to Shari Shemayim? You're reading things here, in the yeshivas, they kept a couple of them that we understand at least what they're talking about. Like nobody's Nobody's, when somebody's sick, singing, nobody's doing that. Right? Like a little bit of hallow we get, and a little bit of Mimamakim, Krasicha, Esoenai, Alaharim, those are the ones we can relate to, but it's not about that. The Tehillim, those Tehillim are chashav, they're all chashav. The Tehillim are, for lack of a better expression, down and dirty. It's like the ultimate in Malchus, where it's really about being in the mud, It's really about being in a very, very low place, which is a very exalted place. Why is it an exalted place? Because it's Malchus. But that's Dovid. That's Yehuda. Yehuda's coming as a peasant. He's coming as a shepherd, standing in front of Yosef. So you just have to keep in mind that when we talk about Shaul and Dovid, we're talking about Yosef and Yehuda. Hainu
Midas Yisod, can you define it again?
Midas Yisod is like this. Let's understand. There are spheres. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world using spheroids. You're not going to know any more about this after I say this than you did before. But let me just explain this, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu's incomprehensible. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's midos are beyond any measure, any numbers. But what was mitzamtzem to the world, what he was mitzamtzem to the world, obviously we can see with the microscope. And on a spiritual microscope, there is also a finite part of the world, which are the different aspects of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's midos that we're privy to, both in the Chumash, Hashem Kal Racham V'Chanun, and in the Spheros, which were in the Skalata still very, very early, that there's the aspect of Chesed in the world, and there's the aspect of Gvur in the world, and Tiferes and Netzach and Hoid. Yisod is where all of that hits the ground. So Yisod is often confused with Malchus. Was Yosef a melech? Yes and no. Was Shaul a melech? Yes and no. Because Yisod and Malchus are so close to each other. Because Yisod is where touchdown hits the ground. Malchus, the seed, hits the ground. Malchus is where it gets buried into the ground, becomes part of the earth, and something whole new comes up. Yes, amazing. Matzmiach Yeshua. So Tehillim is so much lower than anything that you're going to get from Yisod, and therefore it's so much higher. Because the tree of the spheres is inverted. Being that the tachlis of all of this, we're learning what Hashem wants. That's all, just Ratzon Hashem. Hashem wants this world to be a melucha. And being that he wants this world to be a melucha, so the more it's permeated into the world, the more it penetrates and it seeps into the world, so the more Malchus there is. The lower it is, the higher it is. So once you get to Malchus, you're so low. So it's only Yehuda that's going to have a story with Tamar. Big question mark. And it's only Dovid that's going to have a story with Bathsheba. Because that's what Malchus is. That's what Malchus is. It's everything's ironic. In Yisod, you're not going to have that. Do you know where, if somebody's a Navi, which midah does Nevuah come from? Midas HaYisod. When Dovid was a Navi, big time. When he became a Melech, he had to give up his Nevuah to become a Melech. Melech can't be a Navi.
Still had Ruach HaKodesh.
Ruach HaKodesh. He could be very smart. He could be very holy. Should be. But he can't have Nevuah. When Shaul became a Navi, he had to take off his big day Malchus. I'll show it to you inside. I'm not telling you our results, I'm telling you Tanakh. A Navi and a Melech is a stira b'nei obey. You can't be both. Why? Because a Navi is Midas HaYisod and this is Midas HaMelech. Midas Malchus. Nevuah is... Moshe Rabbeinu is the only exception. Very good. Moshe Rabbeinu is the only exception to history, says the Aries. The only exception, and only for a short time. That he was able to have a Malchus of Nevuah and Malchus at the same time. But that's what makes Moshe Rabbeinu so special. That's why we like him so much. But it has to be a stira because who could farnem Yisod and Malchus at the same time? The two are coming from two different places. So understand Nevuah. Nevuah is the Kol Hashem coming into this world from a very high place, reaching the earth. I would presume if we'd be walking around in the world of Atzilus, we'd hear Nevuahs all the time. Big deal. You're talking, that's where the Kol is, right? The Kol is coming from. But in this world, to hear the Kol Hashem, somebody tells you today, God spoke to me. You roll up their sleeves and see what they're taking. There's no, because who's holding by hearing Hashem's word? They have to have such a kedusha. But that's all in Midas HaYisod. If you're a Navi, you're not there yet. Klal Yisrael said to Shmuel, we want a Melech. You're holding by Melucha already. Holding by Malchus. A Malchus Shalchahi. So it's less is more.
Why is it that Mashiach ben Yosef, from my understanding, is a physical battle that he fights? What shouldn't that be more?
This is the stira that we need to be miyasher, hopefully in the next 20 minutes. Be miyasher, the physicality and spirituality of Midas HaYisod and the adverse opposite situation in Midas HaMalchus. But understand this is my hakdama, is that they're both very close. Hardly discernible to the naked eye. And also very, very confusing to the Hamonam. What we're experiencing today, what is that? Yisod, Malchus, nothing. Yitzhahar, what is it? Very, very complicated. But let's have a little bit of. So it says the Tanakh as follows. This is in Shmuel Aleph Perek Yud Tes. Go quickly. Vayidaber Yehonasan b'David toivel Shaul avi v'yomer elav al yechta hamelech b'avdei b'David. Don't hurt David, ki lo yichat alach, he hurt you not. V'chi ma'asav toivel chamoid, and he's done good for you. Yosem es nafshei b'chapa, he took his life into his hands. V'yachas haplishti, he killed Goliath. V'yas Hashem tshuva gedolah l'chol Yisrael. This was a wonderful thing for Klal Yisrael. Why are you dismissing David? Reisa v'tismach, you should see it, you should be happy. V'lo mesechta b'dam naki, lo hamis es David chinam. You're jealous of David, you're going to kill him. Yisod is jealous of Malchus. What? Vayishma Shaul b'kol Yonas, and Shaul heard it. Vayishava Shaul chai Hashem im Yamos. Okay, I will not hurt him. You're right. You heard? Shaul heard. Vayikra Yonasan l'David yagilo Yonasan es kol advar me'ela. So Yonasan went to David, told him the good news. Vayave Yonasan es David al Shaul vayilov on cast mil shul shoim. Straighten out. Reconciliation. Until the war broke out. The war breaks out with the Plishtim. David becomes a hero again. You're up, you're down. He becomes a hero with the Plishtim. He becomes a hero amongst the people. Everybody's saying, whoa, David, what a warrior he is. Ruach Hashem ra el Shaul. So Shaul fell into this sort of depression, melancholy. Who bebeisa Yoshe, sitting in his house, he's holding a spear. David menagim biyad. This is David is sitting there playing the harp for the king Shaul.
It's the same idea that the brothers, they got jealous. It was jealousy. Jealousy, that's what did it.
Between Yisod and Malchus.
Yeah.
But that's already, I don't know if they, between Yehuda.
Yeah,
Yehuda, yes.
exactly.
By Vakish, the confusion. Jealousy comes from confusion. Confusion. Why am I jealous of you? Because I think I'm supposed to be doing what you're doing. If we would understand, listen to the words of Chazal. Ein malchus achas noigas bechavirta afilu kamalinima. That one malchus doesn't hit another malchus afilu like a hair. Kamalinima. There's no competition. Especially this is the malchus of Yisod, this is the malchus of malchus. Even two malchios. The confusion between roles, the blur between roles. If you want to stop jealousy, make it very clear. If kids are jealous one of another, you're clear. This is what you are. This is what you are. This is what you are. I remember feeling an anxiety once that somebody else in yeshiva was so smart, like he was so much smarter than me, and my guy would bother me. So not that it's so hard to be smarter than me, but bothered me anyway. So I remember the Rosh Yeshiva telling me, I said, like, it's bothersome how smart he is. Like, it's really upsetting. He says, He says, why did he take your brains? Like, he took something from you. Like, he's what he is. You're what you are. Like, what's the, like, that's what I can do it. Like, yeah. So, halavai, we would understand. Midas Yisod, Midas Amasas. But this is it. Shaul was, a great man. He sees that Dovid is the great warrior, the hero. Why aren't I like that? Shaul sitting on his throne with his spear. Dovid thinks that we have a good relationship here, and he's sitting and he's playing the harp for Shaul, and Shaul takes his spear and goes to kill Dovid. Dovid was not only a good harp player, but he was very agile. He moved to the side. He quick getaway, moved to the side. The spear stuck in the wall. Dovid is on the run again. Conflict. Michal, here, look what we have over here. Have Shaul has a son, Yehonasan, a daughter, Michal. Michal's married to Dovid. Yehonasan is David's best friend. Shaul is the opposition, or Dovid is the opposition. Michal says to Dovid, if you don't run, tomorrow you're a dead man, you will be hunted. But Michal is Dovid bad achalain. She lowered him down from the window. Vayelech, vayivrach. Dovid went on, ran and he hid. Vatikach Michal is hatrofim. Who was the last one to have trofim? Rachel. Michal. That's hatrofim. Vatasem alamita. So interesting. Vatasem alamita. She put the trofim that she had, put it in David's bed. Vas kvir ha'izim, and a goat covering of hair, and put it on the pillow. It should look like David's hair. Who was the last one? Yaakov. Wow, this is getting close to home over here. That's kvir ha'izim, sama mirashaysab. That's my kids say. I'm just saying. Like haloi davar. Vatchas babogya. Vayishlach Shaul malachim l'kachas David v'taymer choylo. He's sick. He's in bed. Leave him. The army, the soldiers of Shaul came. Vayishlach Shaul malachim liris says David lemar. He said, "What do you mean he's sick? I don't care if he's sick. I want to kill him. I can't kill you today. You're sick." Vayishlach Shaul malachim liris says David lemar. You have to take a physical before they hang you. It's like a new. Vayishlach Shaul malachim liris says David lemar. Haluesoi bamita elai ahamisai. I think anybody who's on death row, or just before they kill them, they take your temperature. It's like a good thing. You watch this, Mama. Look, okay. So they go in, they uncover the blanket. There's the trofim. There's the kvir ha'izim or so fake pillow, fake trofim. Everything's fake. Vayomer Shaul Michal. So Shaul says to Michal, "You're my daughter. Lama kacha remisani." He expected her to go against her husband. But to Shalchi Yisoivi took my enemy, Vayimolei, to let him go. But Tamer Michal al Shaul, who Amar le Shalcheni Lama Amisech. If you don't let me go, I'm going to kill you. That's what Michal's story was. So we have to keep remembering Bereshis here in the middle. But Dovid barach, Dovid ran away. Vayimolei Vayavai el Shmuel haramasa. Remember Yaakov ran away from Lavan? 3 meal till Galeed he ran. But David barach v'yimalek v'yavoyu el Shmuel haramasa. David runs to a spiritual place. He runs to Shmuel haramasa, who lived probably in Ramot. The Agedlo is kol asher asa lo Shaul. What's going on here with me, Shaul? I'm trying to help the Jewish people. Shaul's after me. He's killing me. Vayelechu u'Shmuel. So Shmuel took him, David, and they walked together. Vayeshu b'Noyos. And they sat together in Noyos. Noyos was a yeshiva for Nevi'im. But you have to have a natural kedusha, I guess, to be a navi, but you also have to learn how to do it. But you got l'shol lemar hinei David b'Noyos b'Ramot. Shaul hears that he's in the yeshiva in Nayot, in Ramot. Nayot Barama. Vayishlach Shaul malachim lakachas, says Dovid, so he goes to run after Dovid in Ramot. Vayaris halahakas hanavim nibim, and he goes into Panovich here for Nevi'im. Everybody sitting there being misnabe. I wonder how that looked. Ushmuel Omeid Nitzav Aleim, and Shmuel's the Rebbe. Shmuel's standing on them, teaching them. V'atiyah malachi Shaul ruach elikim, and the soldiers of Shaul walked into this place, Nivayos, and they started to get Nevuah. Atmosphere. Vayisnabu gam hema. Vayagidu l'Shaul vayishlach malachim acherim. They were parbrent, right? They became Nevi'im. Vayishlach malachim acherim. So he sent other soldiers. Vayisnabu gam hema. Same thing happened like Unclus. Vayosef Shaul vayishlach malachim shlishim. Third time, vayisnabu gam hema. So everybody's going into this Nebayot, and they're becoming Nevi'im.
Refuse the orders. Refuse the orders.
Yeah, that's right. Don't talk to them. Vayelach gam hu haramas, so Shaul himself goes to Ramot. What the heck? Okay, let's go. Vayavay adbar hagadol asher b'seiko, came to the big cistern in Seku. Vayishal v'yomer eifo Shmuel v'David. Where's Shmuel? Where's David? V'yomer v'noyos v'Ramah. Ramah Aleph. Vayelach sham el noyos. So he goes to Ramos. Ramah v'tiyalav gam hu ruach elokim. So Shaul becomes an Navi too. Do you understand what's happening here?
So he wasn't a melech.
Vayelech haloich vayisnabe, and he started to be misnabe. He was a melech. Shaul was the melech. Now he's having nevuah. Vayelech haloich vayisnabe at boy v'noyis b'ramah. Vayivshat gam hu begadav. So what's his reaction to getting a nevuah? Vayishat gam hu begadav. He takes off his begadav. Which begadav? Malchus. Vayisnabe gam hu lifnei Shmuel. He takes off his big name Malchus because I'm a Navi right now. Vayipol Araim kol hayoim hahu, and he was naked, mamish naked. Kol hayoim v'chol halayla. Al ken yoimru, says the Tanakh. This is where the expression came. Hagam Shaul banavim. Al ken yomru hagam Shaul banavim. Hagam Shaul banavim is not here. Hagam Shaul banavim is earlier in Perek Yud. Here in Perek Yud Tes, we see that Shaul went from Malchus to Yisod, where at the same time Dovid went from Yisod to Malchus. What's happening over here, and the competition.
Where's the Malchus of David at this point?
Let's look. So if you go a little bit, David and Malchus of this, the Malchus of David at this time was happening, clearly. Look in Perek Yud. See, let me just, before I get to this, I just want to say a nakuda before it gets late on me here. Let's try to understand. We find in a different story that by the Aron. So Haya Dovid macharker lifnei ha'aron. David hat sich meshugge gemacht in front of the Aron Kodesh. David Melech Yisrael was dancing in a way which was not lefi kvodo, like a meshugge. The Tanakh says he looked like. His wife Michal says to him, and you're being mevazah, the words that are, remember, you're being mevazah the Malchus. And she says to him, my father was a melech, I know how malachim are supposed to behave. Shaul was already gone, I know how malachim are supposed to behave. Dignity. Kvod Hashem Haster Dover. Interesting what's going on here. Michal, Eshes, Dovid, the Rebbetzin or whatever, the queen, whatever she's called, is giving her husband Musar for
His behavior.
And she's bringing a raya from Shaul, her father, that's not the way you're supposed to behave. Okay, I mean, your father was Bnei Rochos, Midas HaYisod, Midas HaMalchus.
But she was wrong, she got punished for it. She was wrong, she got punished for it.
She got punished, she was wrong. Because what are you telling to Midas HaYisod to Midas Malchus? But let's understand what's going on over here. Makasha, Yisod Malchus. This is all ironic. We might have to open up our minds here because everything is counterintuitive, I believe. When Nevuah is a very private experience, it's a personal experience with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's Midas HaYisod in the sense that you're bringing the Dvar Hashem from the Shamayim into the Yoretz. But it's very much about me. It's very much about me. Malchus is, the famous Lashon of the Zohar, Malchus is Leis Le Megar Me Klum. Malchus is completely Leis Le Megar Me Klum, has nothing to do with the person who's the Melech. Leis Le Megar Me Klum. You can only have everything, which is Malchus, if you have nothing. Why? Because the whole point of Malchus is, listen carefully here, the whole point of Malchus is that I'm willing to give up everything. I'm willing to give up everything to become part of the earth. Ein melech b'lo am, I'm becoming part of the am. So I myself am nothing. You know why? Rav shemachal al kvoidoi, kvoidoi machal. Melech shemachal al kvoidoi, ein kvoidoi machal. Why? It's not his. Like, if a melech, let's ask the kasha before you give the text. If a melech is leislei megar meklum, he has nothing of his own, so why can't he be Michael on his covenant? So the answer is he has no covenant. He gave it all away already. Leislei megar meklum. So what's he being Michael on? Lei malachim bashamayim. To show you the lashon here is that when Saul became the melech, Shmuel appointed Saul the melech first.
Yet the entire trappings of Melucha is covered.
The
entire trappings of Melucha is covered.
Because it's the covet of the tzibur, it's the covet of the people. So, if you're coming from a place of Midas HaYisod, you know, there's a dignity there, there's part of yourself is still left in it.
It says, Malchus Shel Chayim only ad Tinuch B'Chavod. It's mashma that it's Rebbeinu Shalom's covenant, not the Tzibur.
Rebbeinu Shalom's covenant. So Yosef still had his own covenant, you see. It wasn't who Moshe, B'chol Eretz Mitzrayim. Hashem HaMelucha, who Moshe B'Goyim. Moshe is for Goyim, Mitzrayim. That's where Moshe is from. It's riding on top, but there's still something left of yourself. You know, think of it as a mirror. The thing of a mirror is that you want it to be as clean and as clear as possible, with no interference of color or shape. It should be a complete reflection. So the clearer the mirror is, the more accurate the mirror is, the more the mirror is not there. You take a baby, you put it in front of a mirror, it thinks it's a person. A mirror is a reflection. So the mirror is the mila of the mirror is leis le'megar meklum. I don't want you to add anything to my I do, but most people don't want the mirror to add any advice, mirror, mirror on the wall. A mirror is in the Bechina of Malchus, it's a complete reflection of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Mitzad Echad, he's wearing Big Day Malchus, like you say, all the trappings of Melech. Mitzad Sheni, he's nothing. Sefer Tehillim. I'm so down to earth. I'm so there. Mitzad Echad, like Melech Shemachal Kvoidai, ain't Kvoidai Machal. There's no such thing as being Mevater on the Kvoidai Malchus. Mitzad Sheni, David HaMelech is Mecharker Lifnei Haaron. He has nothing. His whole covet is nothing standing in front of the Aron. It's because we have to be mechalik between him and his covet, because the covet belongs to Hashem. Look at this pasuk here. Talking about Shaul. Vayikach Shmuel as the Tzal Yisrael asked for a melech. Vayikach Shmuel as Pach Hashemen. Vayitzek al Roshai. Vayishakehu. Vayomer Haloi ki Meshachacha Hashem al Nachlasei L'Nogid. Leftecha Ayoim Meimadi Umatzasa Shnei Anoshim in Kuras Rachel B'Gvul Binyamin. I just want to point out that there had to be a Shaul before there was a Dovid. It has to be a Yosef before there's a Yehuda. Has to be. There has to be a Mashiach ben Yosef before there's a Mashiach ben Dovid. It has to be. What it is, we don't know. But there has to be. But when he made Shaul the Melech, this is the main pasuk I wanted to bring you. So on the one hand, Achakeng Tova Givas Holakim Asher Sham Netzivei Plishtim Vayikevoy Achasham Ayir Pagato Chevel Neviim Yardim Me'abama L'ifneim Nevel V'soy V'cholol V'chinor V'hema Misnavim V'tzolcha Alecha Ruach Hashem Misnavis V'nepachto Le'ish Acher. It says here. V'haya B'haf Noisei Shichmoi V'leches Me'im Shmuel. After the whole celebration of him becoming the Melech Shaul, he walked away from Shmuel. Vayafoch Loi Elohim Leiv Acher. Hashem gave him a new heart. What a pasuk. Hashem gave Shaul a new heart. Why? Because 3 psukim ago he was a Navi. And now you're a Melech. What's the pasuk?
Leiv Melachim B'dei Hashem.
Leiv Melachim B'Shamayim.
B'dei Hashem.
B'dei Hashem. 2 psukim. Meaning, means that here was a transference of, it had to have a leiv acher. What's the leiv acher? Not just leiv Hashem, leiv of the people. Kol zman that Shaul was the melech, when he touched Malchus, he had to have a completely different leiv. He couldn't have the leiv that he had just a few psukim earlier. First he went into the midah of the nevuah, which is midas hayisai, and then he finally came into the midas of Malchus. But it wasn't right. He couldn't stay in Malchus forever. He belonged in midas hayisai.
Did he know this?
Well, he was depressed about it. This is the depression. The depression is, I'm not sure if it's right to say, I don't know. But his kids realized, Yonasan realized, Michal realized, the Seder Abba, you're good, you're Midas HaYisod. But Dovid is Midas HaMalchus. That's going to be the eternal. It's something about the Midas HaYisod that it doesn't, because it's not permeated. It's like having flowers in a vase or something. Like they just don't last. It's not deep in der Erde. It's not mamish in the ground that it should last. Yosef, Shaul, this doesn't last. The Malchus. It's a chashuv thing, but it doesn't last. Midas Dovid, which has a kupa shel shrotzim.
It's roots.
It has roots. Why? The kupa shel shrotzim is the roots, because it's the Ritva says by Tchias HaMesim that it's doima lechita. The Gemara says doima lechita. It's like a chita. The Ritva explains it has to rot. When you put the shlita into the ground, it has to rot. It has to become part of the ground. This, by the way, is not such a comfortable situation, I don't think. Becoming a melech is not such a comfortable thing. Being a midas hayesod is comfortable, maybe. So he was poshet big day malchus. Let's just sum it up over here. He was poshet big day malchus. Shaul was, and he was mamish aroim. So he became arom of the big day malchus. So here is the irony that the nakedness of Shaul was really a gilui of himself. Rabbi Nachman makes this point that when Shaul took off his clothes, it wasn't that he was taking off. It wasn't like everybody says, like everybody should say, that he was taking off his kind of little klipa, and now I can have nevuah. When he was taking off his clothes, he was becoming more of himself, because the clothes were just it was more of himself. So taking off your clothes was a gilui. Yeah, beautiful. Yitzchak has psukim today.
So when he took off the clothes, he became a Navi again. Is that what we're saying?
He became a Navi.
He became a Navi.
Why? Because there was a gilui of himself.
His real role.
You see the
Saw
whole
himself in the mirror.
right. You see the whole irony here, that a melech has begotten, but a melech has leisle megar meklum, and a navi takes off his begotten, but he has something. So what's the pshat? I believe Rabbi Nachman says, because when you take off your begotten, then you're yourself. Melech has no yourself. There's no self. It's all leisle megar meklum. So counterintuitive. So Shaul gets a leiv acher, and he becomes a melech. Leiv acher, meaning it's not about my leiv any longer. That's what happened. When he met with Shmuel, Hashem gave him a new leiv. Because now it's not about you, something else. It doesn't. I mean, the Gedolim through all the Doros have said that it really doesn't. Like it's when you're voting for a melech, it's important to vote intelligently. But at the end, it makes no difference because leiv malachim b'shamayim. And you see this turnaround. It's like pretty unbelievable. Those that love us hate us. Those that hate us love us. Doesn't mean anything. You have to vote intelligently. That's our hishtadlus. But once it becomes, if he's really a melech, he loses his bechira in that sense. He loses his self. But the irony is that when Shaul went from malchus to nevuah, going kilu, I don't know, down a level, but he went from malchus to Yisod. So he took off his big day malchus, and he was aroim. And aroim, look, it's all about me. That's me, that's how you say. It's all about me. And when you get into malchus, it's got nothing to do with me.
Oh, no.
And Mamela, I could put on big day malchus. Moshe was on a Mikol.
Yeah.
It was the malchus. Because malchus shochahi. So, the Sfas Emes says this just as a marshal. And the Sfas Emes says, not in one place, but probably in 100 places. It's like a Yisod of the Sfas Emes, that the less you become, the more you are. This is the whole Gerish Shita. So the less you make of yourself, the more you are. Because, meaning, it's interesting because the Ger Rebbes were all blessed with Malchus, right? The Kotzker. The bracha was the Malchus, and the Takim Malachim, and Shirim, and they have a Malchus. They're not the Nech Ben El Akelim like Shaul was. It's the Malchus of Malchus. At the same time, the understanding of the Sfas Emes is that if I give away all of myself, then I have no kavod of my own, but I now have made room for all the kavod of Malchus. So the Malchus is with begodim. Whereas if I take off the begodim and I move into Midas HaYisod, which is the Mita of Nevuah, So now I have to be Aron, because it's all about hisgalus of oneself.
So why is Begadim important? You see the Rebbe's have a special, actually, they have a special dress.
Malchus.
But we're saying the Begadim is not.
No, I'm saying Dovid HaMelech or a Melech.
Well, by Yisod it's not important, by Malchus it is.
Rabbis are Malchus.
Right.
Man Malchei Rabbanim. So it would seem to be much more real to walk around with no clothes. Or bad clothes. But those clothes can also be, there's a lot of midos that are not Yisod and not Malchus, which just be plain guy. But we're talking about B'madrega. Once we're talking about B'madrega, the clothes become a chesar in Yisod. How can I be a Navi if I'm wearing begadim? So you can't have big day Malchus and you can't have big day Chol. And we're going to get to Tzadik's big day Shabbos next time. But you can't have big day Malchus because then I'm nobody to get them in Nevuah. Dovid HaMelech, as I said earlier, had to give up his status as Navi in order to be a Melech. So important. Saul had to give up his status of Melech to be a Navi because it's a Yisod. And it is Yisod. And the Yisod is you can't have Yisod and Malchus at the same time, except for, as David says by Moshe Rabbeinu, Raya Mem. You can't have it. So what the Sfas Emes brings it to a very practical point, that we have to pull ourselves into Malchus. We have to have Yisod where we're makabel into ourselves, we're working on ourselves, we're growing ourselves, we're makabel the Dvar Hashem like a Navi. But then it has to work into Malchus where we become of the people, for the people, by the ultimate leadership of Klal Yisrael, the Malchus of Klal Yisrael, is the leader who has nothing of his own. Hence, Dovid HaMelech is Macharker Lifnei Aaron. He says, you're bringing me, tells to Michal, his wife, he says, you're bringing me a raya from Yisod of how I should act in front of the Aaron. He was Kvod Hashem Haster. That was Nevuah. That was Midas HaYisod. That was a way of dignity. A Navi has to be Chashiv. A Melech can't be Chashiv. I can't be Chashiv. What's Chashiv here? What's Chashiv here in this situation? Aaron Kodesh is Chashiv. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Chashiv. The Shekhinah is Chashiv. So I'm willing to machzak Meshuggah for that. That's what I'm doing. And that's Midas HaMalchus. Yecheskel ben Buzi, Shebiza Atzma al Divrei Torah. He's willing to put himself on the side for Divrei Torah. When you have that level of Malchus, Agav, you have the schus of the whole Am. Your schus is not your own, it's supernatural, because you have the schus of the whole Am. You have the Ashiris when Moshe Rabbeinu became a Navi, became a Melech, became an Asher. When Rabbi Akiva became a Melech, he became an Asher. He also became a Melech Yisrael. He was a Navi that came to a level of Malchus, the Gemara says. There are moments of Malchus that he came to. So there's moments of Malchus. Moments of Malchus is, on the one hand, to sum it all up, on the one hand, Leisley Megarmei Klum, Umitzad Sheni, therefore you have so much. So on the one hand, you're Macharker Lifnei Ha'aron, you can Machzach Meshuggah in front of the Aron, because the Aron's there, it's all about the Aron's covered in the Kvod Hashem. So that was a perfect situation. And on the other hand, Melech Shemachal Al Kvod, ain't Kvod Yemach. But they're covered. Don't give up your covet so much. Why? Because you're giving away Kvod Hashem and you're giving away Kvod Ha. So, hence we touch on Shaul and Dovid and Yehuda and Yosef. When Higash Elov Yehuda, Seder Yosef, time to get on to the next Malchus. You know, all the Avos wanted to see the Geula in their life, because that's what a Jew is supposed to do, want to see the Geula in his life. Bikesh Yaakov Leishav B'Shalva. Doesn't mean he wanted to sit on their merpeset smoking cigars. Bikesh Yaakov Leishav B'Shalva means he wants to see Shalva already. Let there be a Geula already. That's what he wants. Bikesh Yaakov. Chapat what? Rogzel Shol Yosef. Noch nicht. We're not holding yet by Malchus. We're holding by Yosef. We're holding by Midas HaYisod. Midas HaYisod is still got to be brought in. You thought, Yaakov, that the Shekhinah was already here. Bikesh L'Galois is Vaketz. You always wanted the Geula to come. Bikesh L'Galois is Vaketz. We're not there yet. Not there yet. It has to be further. You're not low enough yet. You haven't permeated the earth enough yet.
Not dirty enough yet.
Not dirty enough yet. Not there yet. So he said on Shabbos that Lo Yochel Yosef L'Hisapek L'Chaloim Dimolov. He couldn't control himself any longer to the emotions of the moment, and everybody standing, his brothers standing around him. And he said, Ani Yosef Od Avichai. And the Zohar says that if he would have been Misapek, that would have brought Mashiach. If he would have been able to control himself and brought them down just a little bit lower, then we could have had a mice of Mashiach. Couldn't handle it. We're in a holding body yet. Lo Yochel L'Hisapek. Couldn't handle it. Okay. Shalom.